a topic that I've actually struggled with a little bit, because when you think of challenging, or you think challenge the process, the first thing that comes to my mind is to be argumentative. The first thing that comes to my mind is, the second thing might be like, hey, I'm gonna push the envelope. And I think in our culture right now, especially in leadership culture and church culture and friend culture, that is more what we do. At least I'm speaking for me. I'm not trying to preach at you. I'm just trying to tell you this is what I struggle with, is that I don't think I take the real definition or the real understanding of what it means to challenge the process as a leader. Because what I want to do is like, well, I want to get my opinion across. So if I'm having a conversation with you and you're giving your opinion, automatically in my mind, I'm formulating my response instead of listening. So challenge the process gets a bad rap, and it's also something that I think we need to struggle with a little bit, because I believe if you look at the 5 principles in the leadership challenge, model the way, inspire, share vision, we just did that, that's the first 2. And then the last 2 are enable others to act and encourage the heart. Challenge the process is the glue. And I'm going to try to explain that today. Challenge the process is the glue. It's what keeps things relevant. And what we mean by challenge the process is more like, if you're going to be a member of a team, if you're going to be in a relationship, if you're going to be a member of a church, if you're going to be a member of community, you are struggling and wrestling with, first and foremost, who is that team? Who are they? So this morning I was convicted. I'm reading through the Bible, and I was reading in Job, and it's at the point where Job's friends are like critiquing him and getting all saying how bad he is, and then I started to think like, man, are these people really challenging Job to be more like Christ, or are they just giving their opinion? And then I got convicted, and I looked at James 1:9, where it says that we're supposed to be what? Slow to speak and quick to listen, right? So that we're slow to anger. I know I butchered that verse, but it's 7 a.m. So the whole idea of that is, I think a lot of times what we do in challenging the process, we switch that. We're quick to speak and we're slow to listen. So this topic today, our big idea is this. The big idea, to be busy, to be that, hey, I'm going to provide this extraordinary effort, I'm going to strive for excellence. We have to be relevant. There's a saying out that we need to be relevant, not reverent. Now, with Scripture, we need to be reverent, but relevant, not reverent. The idea that we need to make sure we're doing the right thing, not the thing that we've always done. We need to be doing what is expected, not maybe what we want to do. So we have to be relevant, and that requires awareness, buy-in, and ownership. So what I want to do in the next few minutes is just kind of give you a snapshot on how you can do this. So to be or to challenge the process, the first thing that you have to do is you have to struggle with understanding the team. So when I was in high school, I had the opportunity, I played soccer in high school, but then I got cut from the basketball team. I know that surprises you because of my stature. But I got cut from the basketball team until my junior year. And then when I came in, one of the things that I had to do coming into that team, because these guys have been playing together for 3 years, I had to wrestle with what is this team all about? What does it mean to get up at 5 a.m. and run wind sprints? What does it mean to be shooting 100 free throws a day? What does it mean to do all these things? I had to wrestle with that. And I really didn't have the right to give my opinion until I had earned my stripes. That's an old military phrase, is that the idea is like, people really want to know that you're bought in before they really want you to give your opinion. Now, on the other side, talk about challenge the process, that's just as bad as jumping and giving your opinion too quick. It's not giving your opinion at all. So there are 2 ends to this spectrum, right? Somebody who just does what everybody tells him or her to do, and they're just a robot, and then somebody who is argumentative and giving their opinion at all times. We got to be somewhere in the middle, and what that requires is, if you work at Renova, you need to understand how Weston runs Renova. If you work for Ops, you need to understand how Evan, oh man, I almost went to Jesse, how Evan runs ops. You got to wrestle with, do I understand them? Do I understand what they expect from me before you can ever start giving suggestions? Because if you don't do that, you know what happens? You don't give the right suggestions, you just give your suggestions. Now, on this side, if you never question and you never go, why do we do this at 2 in the morning instead of at 11 o'clock at night, then you're not helping him get better. Or you're not helping Renova get better if you don't ask the questions, why don't we do this? But first and foremost, with awareness, you've got to struggle with, and you've got to wrestle with, and you've got to challenge yourself in the process. Do I understand what is expected of me? Some of you are seniors, right? I know we talked about preceptorship, and you're getting ready to probably get a hospital job in a little bit. You've got to wrestle with, before you take that job, is this job in this hospital where I want to work? Because what the world needs now is convictional leaders. And that means, first and foremost, you got to make sure that that place is where you want to work. You got to make sure that that person you're in a relationship with is who you want to be in a relationship with. Because if you think you're just going to be in a relationship or a job and you're going to change the job, you're going about it from the wrong perspective. You're going about it with how it serves you instead of how it serves others. So number one, you got to have awareness. Number two, you got to buy in. And that means you got to trust the process. There are times in my life that I just go through the process because I'm still trying to learn it. You don't automatically go with, I understand the process, now I take ownership. No, you understand the process, you do a good college try. You do a good college try, making sure you can figure it out, trial and error, because failure's not final, it's not fatal, but you got to do that. Then you move to ownership. I think a lot of times in my own life, I want to give my opinion, which is my ego. I want to give my opinion because that makes me feel better about myself. I want to give my opinion because I think I'm smarter, and I've never really wrestled with, okay, who are the people that I'm serving? So you got to have awareness first, then you try, and then you retry because you're going to fail. It's okay. Then you take your ownership, all right? So when I was at Disney with Weston, we heard of this concept called the clear box. And what the clear box is, it was one of the ways that really helped me understand, challenge the process. In life, there's parameters, right? All right, your professors just gave you a syllabus, right? Right? Yeah, everybody shake their head, yes. If they didn't, come talk to me. We'll go to Dr. Mack and talk. The whole idea of that syllabus is parameters. You can get things done early, you can get things done maybe a little later, but there's the parameters. Every job, every opportunity, every relationship you will have parameters. It's a clear box. So like the example that I like to give is when Cedarville started to build our new building out here, we had a parameter. We didn't say, hey, build the biggest building you can. It was like, we have $35 million. Architect, go design a building that will have this amount of classrooms, this many offices, this many food service spaces for $35 million. That's parameters. Now, could that architect be creative inside that clear box? Absolutely, but there was parameters. Organizations do this all the time. You might think creative organizations don't do it. Disney does it. When they were doing Galaxy's Edge, they were given 14 acres. They weren't given unlimited land. They were given 14 acres. They were given a budget. They were given, it's got to be according to Star Wars, the lore of Star Wars. It's got to follow that IP. They had to do it that way. I think a lot of times when we get into challenge the process, myself, I want to do things my way and not how other people want to do it. So that doesn't make me relevant. So that's the clear box. So inside the clear box, when I understand my parameters, then I can start looking outside that clear box. And that's what I mean by challenge the process. Challenge the process is one of the most convictional things as a leader that I've come across. Because I can sit back and just do everything that my leader tells me to do, even though if I think my leader is wrong. And I've been in situations like that. Before I came to Cedarville, I was at a job where I felt like, actually I left Cedarville in 2007, went to be a director of development at a children's home, and was only gone for 2 months because I got there and that the organization was embezzling money from a children's home. They're taking money from kids. And I was like, I can't do this. So I was a month in. Keegan was only 6 months old. And I'm like, okay, I just moved my wife from Cedarville, Ohio to the sticks of Virginia. What are we gonna do? And I remember struggling with that. Well, I can keep doing, I can raise enough money and get us out of debt, or I can be convictional and just go, I can't do this anymore. And I remember that was the first time that I really struggled with, okay, how do I challenge the process in a way that's good for others, in a way that serves others, in a way that is the right thing to do? It's not easy. Because if you're wired like me, you just go, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, do it. How high do you want me to jump? Okay, I'll just jump. And there's others of us that are wired the way, like, I'm just going to question everything. How do we balance that? And that's what we mean by challenge the process. All right, so challenge the process helps you model the way, because you can't model the way if you don't understand the way. It helps you inspire a shared vision, because you can't inspire if you don't understand. It helps you engage others or enable others to act because you know what they're supposed to do. And also, you're creating a culture that helps them and allows them to ask questions. It encourages the heart because you know that you're seeing people buy into things. So challenge the process is an important part, but is it a delicate part? It's a delicate part because we need to be relevant, but we need to have awareness, we need to have buy-in and ownership.